talk about jigs, and you are at the spot where all the jigs are. So let's first talk about our brush bug. This had an article in a BASS magazine at the first of last year, 2011, that said that this jig was the best all-around jig in America. This jig, you can flip it, pitch it, swim it. We make it in 3 sizes: 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce, and a 1/2 ounce. This particular one here is a moss green fish scale, which is a real popular color. Now this jig features a multi-directional rattle, which means that it will rattle regardless of which direction you shake it. It's the best rattle on the market. It's an expensive rattle, but it's a real good one. Also enough space under that for a small trailer to fit. This jig features a special hook that we have made for us. It has a turned around eye, which you can see. It's looking at the side of it, you won't be able to see through it. You have to look over the top of it, and we call that a turned around eye. Now what that does, that gives you better action. It makes it truer coming through brush, and it also gives you a better hook set. This is a round bend hook with a 7-degree open throat, which means that you can't really see it, but the tip of that hook is up about 7 degrees, which gives you a real good hook set. This is a chemically sharpened needlepoint hook. Best jig, best hook that we make. Now, next we have the stroker jig. And this jig has its place as well. Here's this particular one is an amber color. And it has a head on it that's designed for dragging through shell cracker beds and also for slack lining. Now, people have a lot of different things they call that type of fishing. Slack lining, popping a jig, and you do it either whatever you're doing with it like that. It's all sight fishing, because you bring the rod up to about 1 o'clock and then pop it, and it brings the jig off of the water. And the way this head's made, it has a look that it swims backwards when it comes off of that light line. I don't think it really does, but it appears to. And this has a different type hook for what it is, because the way that hook's set up, see, it drags through the shell cracker beds real well, plus popping the jig makes it work better as well. This jig is also used on deep drops and humps. Next thing we have is Fly. This jig, it's a hair, it's an Arctic Fox hair jig, and this hair, all of this hair, with the exception of the red flash, is from Arctic Fox tails. We get them out of Canada, and we tie them off of these tails. And I want you to look at this. Every jig we make is perfectly tied. They're machine tied, but each jig is tied by hand on a machine, if you will. And in addition to that, we have a towel that we do, which a lot of other people don't do. But now, in addition to that, this has what we call an oni hook. And the bend of that hook, if you will notice, is designed to hold trailers in place. Pork rind especially, because pork rind has a tendency to flip back over the jig and hook into the eye, making it impossible to set the hook on a fish if it does that. But this is an excellent jig for what it is. They use them a lot at nighttime, but they also use them in the daytime a good bit. We have two other jigs that we make. We make a Flea Flicker, which is a finesse jig. By finesse, I mean light line, like 4, 6, or 8 pound. The sizes, let's get back to the Oni fly first. The sizes in the Oni fly are 1/8 and 1/4. That's all we make it in. This Flea Flicker, we make it in an 1/8 to 3/16 and 1/4. And it's designed for light line fishing. It will take a trailer. The particular one is green pumpkin, which is real popular. And another color we have, we call it number 13. And that is watermelon and amber, I think it is. Watermelon and pumpkin is what it is. And once again, this jig is designed for 6, 8 pound line. Some people use 4 pound on it. Another jig that we make in a 1/16 and an 1/8 ounce is the Dragonfly. And I don't have one right here that I can show you. But that's used a lot on a floating fly, and in the early spring with 4 and 6 pound line, smallmouth.
Well, you've got so many to choose from, the spinner baits and all of them, but a lot of people just don't know the difference in them, and other than your website, hoppylures.com, you can see all of them.
That pretty much wraps it up on the jigs. Now, our spinner baits, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but we try to get the best components, what we think is the best components for everything we make. And this spinnerbait has a round bend hook, but this particular hook that we use in all of our spinnerbaits it has an extended shaft just a little bit. It's a little longer than most of your hooks. And it, once again, is a needlepoint chemically sharpened hook. We make this in 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, and 1 ounce. We make it in a regular tandem that you're looking at, or a double willow like you have here.